Hello again, everybody. This is Mr. Everything. I'm coming at you with another Wargaming miniature video. In this video, what we're going to talk about is my personal Caesarian army and the progress I'm making and how far along I've gotten and my future plans. That way you can kind of see me build my army as we go. Okay, so let's start off by saying that I bought a box of Caesarian pylons, right? It comes with 24 figures, and it's really super cool. And that's what got me excited. I said, okay, these guys are actually really good miniatures. So I got the Caesarian starter army. Well, that comes with 4 boxes of that, as well as a scorpion and a couple of general figures, right? A foot and a mounted general. Well, in addition to that, I bought another pack of generals. Because I wanted to have at least 3 generals, right? And I also bought Varenus and Pulo. I bought them because I thought that was cool. Rome was one of my favorite HBO TV series. I bought decals, right? I bought some decals. And I also bought some standards because I knew that I was going to need more standards because I wanted a variety of standards. I didn't want them all to be this one standard of the bull on the standard. I didn't want that. I wish I could have every unit with their own unique standard, but that's okay. It didn't happen. Little history about what I'm planning on doing. I'm planning on forming my cohorts into 16 figures, right? So as you already know, I probably have already discussed this. We're going to do a 4x4 block like that. That's going to be one cohort. What this does is it makes them square, so when I go to Testudo, and when I go in line, you know, you have line, you can still do column, you can do everything you need to do with the 4x4 models by 4 square, easy, super easy. So what does that mean? Well, that means in every box, I'm getting these 2 extra stands. What I need to do then is when I get all my other figures, boop, I need to group them into groups of 4, right? And that's what I just did. And I put 4 per popsicle stick, right? So just like I did when I did the painting on my painting video. This way, I know that every 4 popsicle sticks is going to be a unit. So what I tried to do at this time is make sure that there's 1 command element per cohort. Well, guess what? There can't be, because I just don't have enough. So I looked at, I added Pulo and Varenus to a unit. I added that pack of standards, because that comes with 4 standards. So what did I do? I took some Romans. They had their swords in their hands. I chopped the swords off. I used a little pin vise, drilled a hole through their hands. And now I've got some guys with standards, right? So that helped out. And then I did buy a Roman Legion command, or a Caesarian command pack, but that came with 2 standards. Actually, it came with 1 standard bearer, but 2 tips of standards, the tops. So I took that top and I snipped off one of the plastic sprue standards and glued it to the top of one of the plastic screws. So I do have a large variety of standards. Got the original, got the 4 that I bought in the pack, I got the 2 from the command pack. So I've got 7 different standards out there. But I have duplicates still of the bull. Yeah, but that's okay. That's all right. Okay, so now what you're looking at here are figures where they have been painted with their flesh, and they have been painted with their robes. And you might notice, if the camera's picking this up, that I have some cohorts with blue robes. I have some cohorts with red robes. And then I have a cohort with white robe and a cohort with a yellow robe. Okay, so and then I've got a few extra figures that I am waiting for my next, or I guess I got some sprues coming, just some individual sprues, because just to fill out a couple of cohorts. It'll bring me up to at least, what am I at now? Don't count this one, doesn't count. This one could technically be a 2-liter cohort. You know, if I based all these guys up, I could technically have a cohort right here, but I didn't want to do that because that's 2 command groups right there. So, and don't count this as a cohort because this is my ballista and a couple of foot generals. Because remember, it came with a foot general and I bought a foot general. Well, the foot generals I bought was Caesar and Mark Antony, right? So that's okay. So one of these is a mounted general and one of these is Caesar. I noticed the horses are exactly the same. It's just the torso's changed. Now the foot general that I bought and the Mark Antony figure are surprisingly the same figure, except one is wearing a helmet and the other one's carrying his helmet in his hand. So they're dressed identically. I thought that was pretty cool, though, the way they did that. It's variations of the same model. Okay, so right here, what do we have? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 maybe cohorts. That's, you know, at 16 figures apiece. That was pretty good for just getting a single box and getting the Caesarian Roman starter army, because the Roman starter army says 4 groups, right? Well, if you take so technically that's 6 groups, the way I'm basing them, right? So there's my starter army right here. This is that original box, and then this is the 4 figures left over from that box, and then these are the figures left over from me adding Pulo and Varenis and the command pack there. This Optio. I also got an Optio. I put him out there in one of the cohorts. Yeah, so that helps out quite a bit. All right, so this is my Legion. The only thing I've done so far is flesh. Okay, let me back up. I've done quite a bit actually. I've done flesh and their tunics, right? But then and that's on every model out here except for these guys. I haven't really, once I did the flesh, I realized they were going to be out of place, so I'm just going to wait for my extra sprues to come in. And the reason why I ordered those sprues is because they're actually on sale. You can get a sprue for $3, and I think $3.25 for a sprue. These 4 base cohorts only take 4 sprues. So you could get a command sprue and 3 other sprues, either swords or pylons, and you can make this for $3.25 a base. So you're looking at about $13 per group, right? Okay, so $13 a group is cheap, okay? When you're talking about 16 figures, that's less than $1 a figure. I haven't done the math. I'll probably do it on the screen here for you. But just hypothetically, if you were out there buying Games Workshop Warhammer Fantasy figures, very similar to what we're doing here, right? The type of battling you're doing. You're going to spend $5 per figure, $7, $8, $9 per figure. Some figures are like $24, some of the bigger ones, right? No, not going to do it. So if you were interested in the Imperial Legions or the Caesarians or anything that they have, I could talk about Saxons, man. Woo, boy. Okay, but I did order a couple of Saxons because they were only $1 something a sprue, and you got 4 figures. Okay, so they were like 25 cents a model. There was no way I was going to pass that up. Okay, so I didn't order a whole bunch of those. I ordered like 16 of them just for my D&D game because they're just Dark Age guys and armor and chainmail and two-handed axes. And I said, you know what? I can use it for D&D. Hell. Okay, back it up. Back to the Roman Legion. Okay, what else have I done? Well, I also got my Celtic cavalry regiment in. There's 10 of those. I also got a Celtic cavalry command in, and that's 3. So that's going to give me 13 models. Well, that's not how I'm going to field them. I'm going to field them in 2 groups of 4, no, 8, 6. I don't even know, right? I think it's, I'll figure out the frontage, but I think it's supposed to be, the minimum unit's supposed to be 12. It might be 8. I don't remember. Okay, but either way, I've got a whole regiment with the command, and I'll have a few extra models. Something I noticed, I'll bring this up when I start doing my German army, but the Celts come with the feet, or the bodies. The bodies are up here. The torso is up here, and the feet are on the cavalry. Well, the sprue still has the feet. So if I take all 10 of these bodies and put them on horses, I'll still have these 10 feet. Follow along. Okay, so then I go to my German army that I bought, the German boxes. They come with about 8, I think, 8 per, maybe, yeah, I think it's 8 per box. They have these torsos with like these fur coats. So when I use those for my German war bands, I'm going to have those 8 torsos that are exactly the same as these because it's the same sprue. So I'm going to have 8 extra torsos. Well, guess what? I'm going to put them on these feet. So I just added 10 more figures without even realizing it. Okay, for my Germanics. Okay, decals. I'm building 3 legions or 3 divisions in the game, right? I'm building my red division, my blue division, and my white/yellow division. Okay, they're white tunics, yellow tunics. They're still going to be yellow shields. So I went and got 2 different colors of Caesarian shield decals. I got the blue ones, right? Because I'm going to put the blue ones on the blue guys. They only come with 12 and 1 round one. So that means like the 1 round one can go there, that's no problem. And then when I get my second pack, the 1 round one can go on this guy, usually a standard bearer or the musician. But I'm getting 3 of these. Okay, I guess the 3rd round one can go there. And because 12 is not 16, or even if you subtract those 3, it's still not 13, which is, you know, it's not going to be enough. So I got 3 of them, but I was also planning on making a 3rd cohort. I'm going to go 3 groups of 3, right? That's where I'm going to kind of aiming towards, is 3 groups of 3. Okay, so, but I'm going to put like, let me back up. I'm going to put like 1 pack of decals per cohort, and that's going to leave like 1 or 2 guys that don't have any decals on their shields. So I will have to paint them blue, and then I'm going to use some of the included lightning bolts, or just paint them blue and leave it at that. You know, just because so the lightning won't be contradictory. And then later on down the road, I could always throw one of those decals on. That's probably what I'm going to do. Okay, now the red guys are going to use the lightning bolts that come with, and yeah, I got 4 of these decals. These each have 25 on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, each one of these is 25 on them. That's more than I'll ever need, right? But I'm going to put them all on the red guys. So I'm painting those red, putting these clear decals on. I'm going to have to paint these guys white and put these blue decals on. And then these guys are going to be my yellow decals, which are in the mail, right, along with the extra blue ones. The Celt cavalry came with some really cool decals. I'm definitely going to use all those. That sounds, well, not all of those, some of those. Some of these other ones are going to go on my Germanics just because. Okay, I did a little faux pas there. Sorry. Backing up. Majority of their tunics are red, right? You got a red tunic there, red tunic there. This unit will have a red tunic along with the command stand and the extra base of guys that I'm getting in, right? So we're going to have those guys red. There will be red tunics in with these guys, and there's probably going to be a red tunic group in with these guys as well. Basically, every division is going to have somebody in red tunics. It's just the way it is. But these guys are all going to have yellow shields. These guys are all going to have blue shields. And these guys are all going to have those red shields. Okay, plumes. I am going to do some colored plumes. I'm going to mix up, like each unit, each group is going to have a different color plume. That way the plumes will help identify the group that it is, so it easily identify the units. So not only are you going to see like blue tunics and blue shields, but you might see a white plume. Then you're going to see blue tunics, blue shields, and maybe a red plume. So, and then blue tunics, blue shield, maybe a red plume. You know, that way the blue division will each have their own individual cohort, and it'll be color coded. Okay. Now you get the idea there about the paint jobs and where I'm at. This video's gone on way too long. Sorry about that. I just wanted this to be a quick Sunday update. It is Sunday. I've been painting on these since Friday. Basically, I assembled, organized, glued to popsicle sticks, primed, painted flesh, painted tunics. Then I did a dip of I think it's like light brown dip on them to flesh tone them, and then I just this morning did a dull coat, and then I'll continue painting on all the minor details, because the flesh and the tunic and the armor are really the big ones. I didn't want to dull coat my armor, so I wanted to do the dip first. Now I'm going to do armor, bronze, steel, wood, stuff like that, and we're going to get these things knocked out in a hurry. In the next couple of days, they'll be finished. Basing and all that stuff will be done later. At the end, we'll do a close-up on some of these guys, see what my progress is, and that way you can see them as they come along. But I do want to say this. I've watched a few videos, right? And this is my Hail Caesar progress. I watched a few videos and of other people playing, and I've learned some lessons of what not to do based on some of these other games that I've seen. I've been playing miniature games since the late 70s, early 80s, late 70s, 77, 78. I probably didn't get started into miniature gaming till about 78. Okay, so how many years is that? 78, 88, 98, 1008, 38 years. I've been playing miniature games for 38 years. There's a few lessons about speeding up your games that and help avoid any confusions or any kind of misunderstanding or rules forgetfulness, stuff like that. There's something you can do that's very unobtrusive that I learned playing Napoleon's battles, actually. If I take a little piece of card, or you know, it can be as wide as 40 millimeters, because that's how big this base is, right? If I take a card or just a piece of paper that's as wide as this base, and I can make a little label, right, that I tape on the bottom of this thing that goes off the back side, and I fold it up, it's going to stick up in the back. Up. It's going to stick up in the back of this base. Okay, great. Now, I've got and it'll have some valuable unit information on it. And I'll put it on the back of my command stand. Always put it on the back of your command stand, right? So when your unit goes into combat, you're going to be in a formation where you're, as the player, you're going to be able to look down and you're going to see that label. Make it unobtrusive. It doesn't have to be standing up like this tall. Make it about half the height of the model, maybe even less. Just enough so that you can put some numbers on there. And you can put a 4-digit number, you know. You can put 9830 or something like that, right? And what those numbers are, if they're all the same, or you know, they're in the same order for every unit that you've got. Every opponent's unit has one. You can have your class, your sustained, your short range, your long range. Easy. So I could just put a 4-digit number in the corner somewhere in fine print, you know, whatever. I can make it super tiny. Just make it so you can read it. 4-digit number. It'll look like 1,000, you know, 9,000, or it'll look like 9872 or 2345 or whatever it is. First number is the clash value. Second number is sustained. Third number is short. And you can even put a slash if you want. You know, 9-8-, you know, if you want, you know, just to, or put them in parentheses or whatever. I wouldn't use anything like that unless there was a special rule. So like I would put it 98 parentheses 3 0. And what that's telling me is he has no long range value. He only has 3 if supporting and not in short range, you know, or something like that. So I know what those values mean. So when I'm engaging in combat with another unit, I could go, what's my clash? Boop, I'm looking right there on the little card on the back of his dude. It says 9. I don't have to have a separate long, huge sheet, because some armies out there have like 20 different units, especially like the Greeks and the Carthaginians and even the Republican Romans. You know, you wouldn't think they do, but they do. They've got Principes, Hastati, Triarii, Velites, Spanish mercenaries, you know, Gaelic mercenaries, you know, all the stuff they might have with them. You're going to have this long, huge combat roster. Guess what? Crumple that up, throw it away. You don't need it, because every unit has their own numbers on the back. It'll also help, and you can even put on the top, you know, Legionary Cohort 1, Legionary Cohort 2, if you wanted to do that. If you want to put Division 1, Division 2, that'll help, you know, but what I tend to do is put that over on the right-hand side. I put any like organizational stuff on the right-hand side. I put combat values on the left-hand side. Okay, now, but you need more than just a 4-digit number, right? Because if I take that thing and I throw it away, I need to know what kind of special abilities he has. Drilled, elite, frenzied fighter, whatever, right? You can put that on there in fine print, because guess what? You've got you know, 2 or 3 rows of things you can put on there. You need to know their morale save and their stamina, right? So you've got 6 numbers that you need. And this is what I would do. And this is what I plan to do. I plan to go 7630 space 4 plus space 6. Okay, so, and that's going to be on the far left, and that's only going to take up about half that card. Then over on the right hand side, or the row right below it, I might say drilled, pilum, fierce fighter, whatever it is. You usually only have 2 or 3 special abilities, and you can put those right below it. No problem. Right above it, I might put what that unit is. Caesarian Legion Cohort 1, Caesarian Legion Cohort 2, or something like that, and have 8 of them, or whatever I've got. Celtic Cavalry or if they're medium cavalry, I might say Celtic medium cavalry 1, Celtic medium cavalry 2. You know, the generals, here we go. Generals are going to have their own little label on them. The generals are going to say things like plus or 3 attacks, 8. That's all you need. You need to know his command value and how many attacks he contributes to the battle. That's all you need. You might have, and then make some extra labels for wounded generals, because as they get wounded, you just peel the label off, put another one on, and you're not permanently attaching it. You're putting it on with Scotch tape. You just stick it on the bottom. Well, actually, what I do is I fold them in half, and then I stick it on the bottom so the label, because it was folded in half, has a tendency to angle its way in like a V, and it rests against their legs, and it makes it easier for you to read looking down. You don't have to go, what does that label say? You can actually, because it's folded back like this, you can actually see it. And when I get to making labels, I'll definitely show you what I mean by all this. But I was watching a game the other night on YouTube, right? And there was a new player. You know, a guy didn't know what he was doing. Never played this rule set. I don't even know if he's played Ancients in the past. He probably has. He's not an idiot. He was just never played the rules, so he didn't understand the different concepts that Hail Caesar has. And this guy across the table was being very helpful. It was his video. He had a friend filming it, but it's his channel, and he was helping this guy. And the guy would ask a question, and he would give him an answer, and it would be well, 50% of the time it was right. Some of the time, most of the time, I'm going to say most of the time it was right. But there were some times that he would answer him with different answers. So as the new player, I understand where he would be confused, because he said, what's my save? And then the other guy would say 5 or better. And he's like, okay, cool. So the next time he gets into a fight, he goes, okay, these guys got a 5 or better, no problem. He goes, no, those guys only have a 6 or better. Why? Because I'm hitting him with pylons in Clash. And then he's like, oh, okay. And then he would roll, he would accept it and go. And then the next time he would go back to the other guys, he would say, oh, I've got a 5. And he would say, no, you got a 6. And he's like, what the hell? I had a 5 last round, you know. And then he would say, okay, what's my Clash? Oh, it's 9. Okay, well, nice. And then the next turn, he would go into okay, let's back up. He would have a sustain value of like 6, and then they would not, like the teacher would not follow up and maintain contact with him. So but on his turn, he moved up and maintained contact with him. And they said, oh, because I was winning last turn, I am still winning. And I'm like going, no, you're not. You did not maintain contact, so you're not winning. You just did a new charge. So you get your, so now what he was doing was, he was saying, well, it's a new charge, so I get my sustain value. I mean, I get my Clash value, and I get the winning. No, you'll never get both of those. You're either it's a new charge and you get your Clash, or you're winning and you get your sustained. But okay, I digress. What I'm trying to say is that new player would benefit from those labels, because he could just look down and say, oh, I got a 5+ save. And the teacher could easily say, I've got pylons, it's -1. Oh, okay, cool. Because now he's got a hard number he's looking at, and he's not just being told what he's got. He got units eliminated. Okay. I gotta say this. I plan to go over this in a little while in my final Hail Caesar boot camp, but I'm going to tell you guys this now in case you don't get a chance to see the Hail Caesar boot camp. He had a unit attacking. Okay, we got a cohort of guys attacking, right? And he had couple of guys back here supporting. First of all, they have to be touching, right? They have to be side by side or directly behind. No exceptions. But he said, oh, they're within short range, so they get to support. Okay, error one. This is early, and I'm going to tell you right now, the teacher admitted at the end of the video, he said, I'm still learning the rules. I'm going to have more of these playthroughs, and you know, I'll become more proficient with the rules. So he kind of acknowledges the fact that he might have made some mistakes. He seems like a pretty cool dude, so it's okay. You know, everybody makes mistakes on their first few games. But so that's the first mistake. Then he charges in and he uses his clash and his +1 and all that stuff, and he blows this unit up. He rolls his break test. He fails. He breaks. The guy's eliminated, right? He said, oh, so what happens to my guys that are supporting? Oh, they're eliminated too. No, they're not. First of all, they're not touching. Second of all, even if they were up like I just had them, and this unit blows up and you get rid of it, those guys don't immediately blow up. They just have to make break tests as well. Oh, goodness. All right, guys, so let me go ahead and kind of give you a few close-ups on my cohorts going on right here, just so you can kind of see the progress and what they look like. And then I'm gonna start finish painting these guys, and maybe I'll do the final boot camp this evening. All right, that's one of my blue cohorts right there with the Optio. There's another blue cohort. That is the white tunics. Just a red tunic cohort. That's the yellow tunic cohort. I noticed that the white and the yellow kind of came off looking, both kind of them looking yellow, because that's the Varenus Pulo cohort. You know, that's a heroic veteran cohort, which they might or might not be veterans. There's my ballista crew and the 2 foot generals. Notice how they're both exactly the same. They just have it. One's got wearing his helmet, one's carrying his helmet, and then you got Caesar and Caesar with his helmet on. So yeah, they're basically the same cav, same. But that's okay. I'm gonna have four generals right there. All right, guys. Thanks for coming out and checking out this video, and I appreciate you following along and keeping up to date on how I'm updating my stuff. And in the next, probably tonight, after I finish whatever I'm going to paint on these guys tonight, I'm going to do a boot camp, the final boot camp video. All right, I'll see you then.